Habs fans, if if there's a trade for a guy like Crosby, sometimes a young star player goes the other way. That's all I was trying to implicate, okay? The hatred, because last year I had a comment about.
Okay, we need the backstory here,
dude.
All right,
we were talking. Well,
I jammed you guys up. It was a bit of a jam job, but we're just, we're free.
Well, you threw this out there. You're like, if Crosby goes to Montreal, what do you like? What would you? And then it was like Demidov.
I'm proud of my comments.
Okay, well, I just said 1-for-1 Demidov for Crosby.
And
Very
then
simple question.
I said it would have to be a guy like Lane Hudson, wouldn't it? Like, we're talking about a top 5 possibly player of all time. And I understand, like, the Gretzky trade. It was like Jimmy Carson.
Marty Gelinas.
Who else? Marty Gelinas. Like, there's different. Did Marty Gelinas go from L.A. to Edmonton?
I think he went with. No, what did he do? Marty Gelinas was in that trade, was he not?
I don't remember Marty Gelinas being involved in
Maybe
anything.
I'm wrong.
But yes,
like, it's
to
just,
your point.
I threw out like, you would have to think a guy like Lane Hudson would, like, maybe he'd be asked about, talked about.
I would think Kyle Dubas would pick up the phone and mention some names like Lane Hudson, Ivan Demidov.
So one of you guys mentioned Slavkovsky. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're gonna trade for Crosby, like, you're looking to get a young player that's a stud on the way back. Sorry.
Right. Well, let's clarify
something.
something. You're nuts if you're not giving up Slavkovsky for Crosby. Okay? You've lost your mind if you're not willing to do that. Because I think I have said this for a while. You guys may have disagreed with me. I know. Oh, you have. I think Sid's going Tom Brady here. I think he's playing until he's 42, 43. I think all he knows is hockey. All he does is play hockey. All he does is train. And I think he's going to play for a long time, like another 4 or 5 years. And I think you have another 2 or 3. Yes, I do.
4 or 5
Absolutely.
years?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he keep playing? That's all he does is hockey. I don't know anything else about this guy. He's been in our lives for 25 years. I don't know anything. I don't know what kind of music he likes. I don't know what kind of food he's into. I don't know anything about Sidney Crosby other than hockey, because that's the way he operates. So I think he's going to play for a long time. The Demidov, Hudson thing, whatever. But, hey, it's Sid. Like, if you're Pittsburgh, you're asking for the world.
You do ask for
the
the
entertainment value of having Sidney Crosby in your market would be phenomenal.
Dude, they chant his name even as a bit, like, when he goes there with Pittsburgh.
Right.
Even at the Four Nations.
He was the man. He was the king. He was the king of Montreal.
He's a Mount Rushmore player, or close to it for me. He's that good, like generational. I just think my point on it was the Pittsburgh Penguins, if you're going scorched earth, like getting a young play, like, you got to get draft picks. You've got to get stuff like that, because at the end of the day, like, what's getting a 22-year-old? Like, now you're in the Chicago mold where they had to move Doc and move all these players. Like, I think they're years away once you go through a rebuild. So they need top picks. Like, that's where I was saying, get first rounders, get all of that type of stuff, prospects, like, not live roster players, because they won't help Pittsburgh right now because they're not trying to win. They're going to go scorched earth.
But still, if you're going to get a high-end player, again, this is hypothetical, but why would you take a pick over Demidov, who's here now is 20?
I think you need a stud live body, man.
I don't think so. I don't think he'll get that much at 38 years old. I personally, why would you trade Demidov? Demidov might be their best player in a year from now.
He might be, or he might not be. Or maybe he develops into just an okay player.
So, Noodles, I have to get this straight.
There's a gamble.
I have to get this straight. If Montreal, this is so stupid, by the way.
Yeah, it is stupid.
This
is a hypothetical.
No, it's not stupid. Let's clarify something here. Sid was talking about Montreal. His agent came out and said, he might be open to a trade. It might happen. And Montreal is his favorite team. So it's not stupid to link him possibly to Montreal if he gets traded.
We're Joe from the bridging it. Like, that's what we're doing. But if Kyle said Demidov's got to be in the deal, you think Montreal walks? Or you would walk if you were Kent Hughes?
I'm not going to speak for Kent Hughes personally.
Okay, what do you do if Kyle told you Demidov's got to be in the deal?
You find a different package. I'm sorry. I think he might be their best player moving forward. Demidov. Again, I don't know.
Over Nick Suzuki?
I love Nick Suzuki. I think Lane Hudson's a star. I think they've got some great young players. I think Caulfield, we're sleeping on Caulfield too.
Over Sid for the next 2 years?
2 or 3
years?
But again, 2 years.
Yes,
what are the Montreal Canadiens doing in the next 2 years?
I don't know. They took a big step this year.
Right.
I don't know,
Okay.
Noodles. I don't know. But here's my point is the rest of the league, and Montreal's a little bit different because they exceeded expectations last year. They had a phenomenal year. They had a phenomenal stretch run, to their credit. I didn't think they were capable of doing that. They did it. But I get this sense around hockey, there's this, paralysis of, well, we can't compete with Florida, so whatever. And, that's such a loser's mentality. And I'm not saying that's what you're applying here, but I'm picking up on that. Well, Florida's too good, so whatever. And that's that better not be the approach of a lot of these teams. And Montreal's a little bit different because they're in a different part of the pecking order, but they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? Let's use Ottawa as an example. We're going to get crazy with hypotheticals. I don't even know who they don't have a Demidov equivalent necessarily, but would you get crazy if you're Ottawa to bring in Sid? You think they could win in the next 2 or 3 years?
What is crazy?
They're pretty strong
for
up the middle of the ice, but.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying is if we were talking Hudson, that's Jake Sanderson territory, and I hang up the phone and you say no, sorry. Jake Sanderson's a stud, he's a superstar.
That's crazy. You're willing to hang up the phone on young stud players, man, for a legacy type guy. I know he's 38 years old. I know he is.
But here's my, I guess maybe I'm in the wrong, but here's my thought process in this. You look at it differently if you're Colorado. I don't think adding Sidney Crosby to Montreal, regardless of the cost, is the missing piece to put him for them to win the cup.
Okay, how much better is Colorado than Montreal? Better, clearly, with McKinnon and McCarr. Is their goaltending better?
I like Blackwood. Yeah, I like.
He's better than Montembeault?
They're alike. Put it that way. 6'3", 6'4" goaltenders.
Right.
I like them.
I'm not down on Colorado. This isn't about evaluating Colorado. They're clearly better than probably 27, 28 other teams.
Right.
Just saying, I don't know if there's that big of a gap anymore for a lot of teams. San Jose's not doing this. Chicago's not doing. I could give you 10 teams where it doesn't make sense, and maybe Montreal's closer to them. Maybe Ottawa's still closer to them. But I would think there would be a group of 10 to 12 teams that would be screw it, man.
Well,
we're in here because we got a 2 or 3 year window, and how much more can you ask for in pro sports than a 2 or 3 year window?
You're right, and I'll let you weigh in. I just want to finish my thought here.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a shot on Sidney Crosby.
Of course
I think
not.
it's just more. It's more about what your organization, what you feel like you would give up to. Keep in mind, Montreal, you just said they're building. They're getting to that next level. This is a team that's, I think really good and going to continue to get better. But if you're taking a young piece out of it, Sid's going to want to go there and play with those young guys. You're not going to want to have to give up some of those young guys for the cost of doing business. That's why I think it's, again, hypothetical. It's picks and prospects that aren't on the roster. That's where I would go. That's where my head
I'm
would
sure
go.
everyone would rather go there, Noodles. There's no
you said
questioning
picks and
that. It's that how do you get the player?
Picks and prospects. There was a guy yesterday. It was it would be more like the Joshua Waugh types and stuff like that down in Laval. And I'm like, that's a total Toronto comment where they want to trade for. Yeah, they just want to give up nothing. I don't know. It's just it's an interesting thing, how the trade talks would go.
It just, again, Sidney Crosby is Sidney Crosby. It's not moving a second line center anywhere. He's a top tier player, and you're right. Hey, he's still at 38. He is an impact guy. He's a name. He's all of that, and his pedigree comes with it. I don't know what that marketplace looks like. You're right. If Kyle can ask for the world because he's in the driver's seat, or Sidney Crosby. Now, what if Sidney Crosby, here's the other thing we haven't factored in. What if Sid just goes, I want to go to that team. Deal with that team. Because that's another scenario that we haven't thought into is there are, things that go on behind the scenes where Sidney Crosby, if he decides to move on, he's going to be involved in the process.
He's going to control where he's going to go.
Exactly.
He's not going to wake up one day and be told you're playing somewhere. And that benefits the team he's going to because Pittsburgh's going to do right by Sid. If he says I want out and I'm going here, then they'll have 24 hours or whatever to work out a deal, and they'll get the best thing they can. But it clearly will benefit whoever is acquiring him. And it probably will not be as big of a package as EA Sports might indicate it would be in a hypothetical trade. And no one knows what the market is. But I think O hit on an important point that every fan base is guilty of, and Montreal is guilty of it right now.
Yeah,
we want
to get Sid, but you're going to take our worst prospects.
Yeah, and they're in a similar spot to where I'd use the Leafs as an example because we lived it and went through it. 7-8 years ago, if you said, well, Mitch Marner for whatever, maybe it was Sid at that point.
Legacy
Probably not.
player, but somebody
but whatever,
like
you'd
that,
be like,
yeah.
no chance. Are you nuts? And now you look back on it, and maybe you'd think, actually, we should have done that.
But,
now, who knows how it was going to play out or how it was going to work out. But everyone overvalues their players and their prospects, especially early in the process, because they're nervous about getting too far out over their skis and expediting the process and ruining the whole journey that's going to be magical. And
let me just read you
maybe
this,
it will
guys.
be, maybe it won't be.
Let me just read you this, Jamie. To the Los Angeles Kings, Wayne Gretzky, Marty McSorley, Mike Krushelnyski. To the Oilers, Jimmy Carson, Marty Jelena.
I knew Marty was
Nice.
on that. I
Los
played with
Angeles
Marty.
first-round picks in 89, 91, 93. How about this? And $15 million cash.
There was
Right.
cash involved for
Cash.
Bruce McNall. Like, that was the other thing.
No,
Peter
Pocklington.
Pocklington, yeah. Bruce McNall paid $15 million to Pocklington.
Turns
Believe
out it
me,
wasn't really his money, I don't think, either.
Yeah.
when you
Well,
consider the
that's-
way things played out.
Let's not head down that road.
Okay. Allegedly.
But allegedly. But what I'm saying is, like, you look at it. Now, Jimmy Carson, was he a 60-goal scorer?
50-goal scorer
50
for sure he was.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
He
he
scored
was
50 in his rookie year. I played with Jimmy in Hartford.
Yeah, he was a nice player. But again, it goes to Edmonton. He wasn't a 50-goal guy. They were like, "Hey, what's going on here? This is supposed to be our Gretzky replacement."
That's what's impossible. Gretzky was in his prime, and you're getting traded for him. Do you know how mortifying that would be to show up in
Yeah.
Edmonton and start waving, and people are like, "Oh, you're the guy? Like it's your
Right.
fault, right? Oh, you're the guy that got us. You're the reason Gretzky got traded, so we can have you."
I just, you know what? Like, I didn't know we were going to start the show with this.
I wasn't anticipating starting.
But
on
I agree. Like, I
Sid
did.
to the Habs here.
Oh,
I get you
sorry.
had to get it off your chest.